where there are great creepypastas and terrible creepypastas. There are those that are so spectacular in their awfulness that they cross the line of being so bad that they end up back at incredible again. As most of you know, our hero, Dennis, has already been over a few of these stories before. Today, that trend continues. We had 2 bonus entries last time, so here are 2 more. Let's begin. Bonus number 1. True Lavender Town Story. Before Slendy was around, he was a shield. He played Pokemon a lot, and he loved it until he found Lavender Town. It just gave him chills and scared him, and he found it depressing, so when he grew up into Slendy, he thought, I will take down this depressing town because it haunted him, because he saw a Pokemon die there. So when he was older, in parentheses, Slendy, he got his old Game Boy and took the cord and jammed it into his face, pulling him into the game. So he thought the only way to end this terrible place is to kill everyone that enters, even Pokemon. So whenever someone got there, they were being stalked in-game. So when he got close enough, he attacked, ripping them to pieces, all but the trainer, leaving him there in horror, and he tore them apart limb by limb. So after years after C, that the trainer went to their grave and said he was sorry and that he should have never brought them there. Later that night, Slenderman emerged from the game and killed the boy who was that trainer, so he had no witnesses and continued on stalking kids and killing them. Well, now you know the story of Lavender Town. Bonus number 2. Pokemon Hidden Gold. I'm dead. That is a quote from Lost Silver. That game gave me nightmares. Then I got over it and made a second one, Pokemon Hidden Gold. Okay, here's the story. I got a new Pokemon game that was the best one yet, but came to another fate. I got it at a thrift shop, and the sticker only said Heart instead of Heart Gold. I went home and played the game, but instead of Ho-Oh flying, it had Ho-Oh on the ground dying! And when I pressed start, No-Oh died. This was very weird. I went and played the game. Once I got my starter Pokemon, Opponent, looking in my inventory I saw that my Totodile, by the way, I don't care if I mispronounce these Pokemon names. I love the games, but you know, I'm not the biggest fan and I don't know how to pronounce every single goddamn Pokemon. Had a carving on him that said, "Go away, he doesn't like you." It was a little hard to read because there were so many words, and I went with it. Bad choice. I spawned in Lavender Tower, and my Totodile had another carving that said, "Get out or die now." This was very creepy. I thought it was a bootleg, and I liked the way the hacker put it. I then went to Lavender Town for some reason. I saw the ghost Pokemon, and that scared the out of me. My Pokemon were not scared to move, and all attacks did critical damage to Ghost. Then he used Curse when he died. I went to Pallet Town and went to my trainer. I had all gym badges and the faces were skulls. Just like Lost Silver, the story I'm ripping off. My trainer was gone except his corpse. Dead body. I was a ghost sprite in the overworld. My Totodile had another carving on his belly. It said, "It's too late. You can't get out now." My Totodile was also a corpse now. It went to the title screen with Ho-Oh dead. I never played a DS Pokemon game ever after that. Well, those were the bonus entries. Now, it's time for the real shit. Number 10. Am I Perfect Now? Our first story begins by plunging us into the crazy world of our main character, who is, say it with me everyone, bullied at school. Also, I just realized that we never get to know the name of our main character. Huh. After an intense bullying session, our hero's tormentor struts away with her gang of human Barbies, and our hero assures them that they've just made a huge mistake. She hurries home and starts making up a plan. Perhaps she can set up a trap involving Ugg boots and Starbucks. That'll surely make the basic white girls shiver in fear. But no, our protagonist decides to do the classic, sneak into their house and kidnap them while they're sleeping plan. Always works for me. She sneaks into her bully's colossal mansion and kidnaps her, straps her to an electric chair because they are suddenly in an old abandoned prison, and our hero, I use that term very loosely, then takes revenge on her bully by going Hostile 3 on her ass and cutting off the skin on her face. Yummy! She dumps the body in the river and calmly walks home, and places the skin in her freezer for a few days before taking it out and placing it over her own face. She closes off the story by asking the reader, "Am I perfect now?" Well, you decide. After all, beauty is in the eye of the beholder. Number 9. The Paradox Messenger. I was 6 years old when it happened. I was playing with my ball like all 6-year-olds do, when my ball rolled into the woods. In there, I met a really tall man with no face, and then Matt woke up from his dream. He went downstairs for breakfast and started arguing with her sister because she's 14 and watches SpongeBob. "Megan, you're 14, says Matt. "Stop watching these kid shows."
Hey, I watched cartoons throughout all my teen years, hoodlum, and look how sane I turned out.
Well, Matt, you're
18.
and you keep obsessing over your ex. Let her go, dude. Yeah, that's what you get for dissing the Sponge, playa! Matt hates his ex because she cheated on him with his best friend Jake, and he lets everyone know this by drawing pictures of his ex being stabbed in class. Of course, because of this, he gets sent to the principal's office and gets scolded for being a whiny little. He then goes home, grabs a knife and a bandana, and goes into the bathroom, and then the story goes, oh, and forgot to mention, Matt has very dark maroon eyes. He got it as a birth defect, and it terrifies everyone he meets, but he thinks he's pretty, but now he was going to become beautiful, more beautiful than ever before.
You're the fucking author! Stop speaking to me! You're not supposed to do that shit!
He carved a smile into his face, and his mother came in. Sweaty, what you are... Oh my... it's too good. Matt passes out and wakes up in a mental hospital, where a beautiful woman in a black dress called Jessica greeted him. Then, the slender man he had seen in his dream appeared and he passed out again, before waking up with a bandana around his neck, and 2 knives, along with a note next to him that said, "Do it." So of course, he goes home and slaughters his family for no reason despite the fact that they had done nothing, and then he heads to his friend's house and murders him and his ex too. Matt isn't here now, he says, before the faceless man appeared behind him. Matt was satisfied and walked out of the burning house, reborn as the Paradox Messenger. The end. I didn't see any time traveling in that story. I am disappointed. Number 8. The Light Doesn't Kill Me. The Light Doesn't Kill Me.avi is a weird and creepy video our protagonist Amy tells us, Ami, I'm gonna go Ami, who is a student at Emory University. You all know Emory University, right? It's like world famous. Now you might be thinking, as Ami puts it, that this has something to do with drugs because some chick snorted something and thought spiders were in her eyes, but it's not. Didn't think it was either, honestly. No, this is a warning about a ritual. Because this is a ritual creepypasta. You got 11 miles? Well, throw it out because now you have the light doesn't kill me. If you lack intelligence, swiftness, and talents, do not try this most terrifying ritual. One day, at around 12 in the night, Ami was in the computer lab, chatting up girls and old men and whatnot, you know, normal stuff. As he was walking back to his dorm, in a flash, a giant camcorder appeared and almost hit him in the face. Then, there was what appeared to be a young man standing before Ami, wearing dress pants and Converse sneakers. I'm gonna assume he was shirtless. Ami asks what their deal is, and if they are a meth head. Great way to initiate a conversation. Take note, kids! The man started chasing Ami, and Ami ran and hid in his room. He set up the camera and found 2 files on it. One was an 18-minute long video of nothing but a sobbing noise. The other video was just a prank, bro. At least Ami thought so at the time. The video started in a dark room, and you could hear the Adventure Time theme song, which is probably the song that welcomes you at the gates of hell. The video zoomed out until you saw a man sleeping on a sofa. He woke up, yelled, cried, and tried to run. The screen went black for a minute, until someone spoke a familiar catchphrase.
Go to sleep.
There was then a scream, and the video ended. Ami decided to do some research on these mysterious videos, and found out exactly where the murder witnessed in the video took place. Before he did, however, he looked up the go to sleep thing and found a link with an ugly guy attached to it named Jeff the Killer. This guy knows what's up. He made his way to the address and went inside. In the kitchen, he found this estranged character, who according to Ami looked like a demonic version of the Joker. The two fought, and the end. What did that have to do with rituals? Number 7. Smile. Smile is the name of the girl who fell in love with Jeff the Killer. Stay in your seat, please! She fell in love with him the day he arrived at her school, and she followed him home and watched him from the tree by his window at night. That's not creepy at all, girls. The day Lou, you can't even spell the characters right, what the got arrested, she knew that Jeff was special. A special snowflake, if you will. Jeff didn't leave his house for a week after that, and Smile never left her tree either, which resulted in her losing 7 pounds. I'm gonna assume she ate every squirrel that climbed that tree. I mean, how else did she survive? When he did leave the house, it was because of a little kid's birthday party. Smile enjoyed watching Jeff play with the little kids. Red flag, someone call the cops! That same day, Jeff had his accident, which wasn't too bad for Smile, as she got food and got to be with Jeff. Why she was allowed to be in the hospital, I have no idea. The day they removed his bandages, Smile was blinded by his beauty. Look at that face. It's perfect. As she put it, he was, well, hot. His white skin glared, and his black hair made him look like he was in a 50s movie. She returned to her tree and watched him, and pictured them together, Jeff and Smile. In her head, it was perfect. So of course, later that night, Jeff murders his family and goes outside, and was even more beautiful now. Smile followed Jeff everywhere. She helped him gain his fame. They say he killed 145 people, but in reality, he only killed 13. Smile didn't mind not getting credit, as it made Jeff happy. Then, Jane came along and murdered her soulmate. Smile followed her until she got bored and stabbed her 13 times. Smile is out there, somewhere, and one day, she is gonna get you too. Good luck! Number 6. Voodoo Doctor. It was a cold winter day. I was walking through the forest and I heard screaming. I looked around but nothing was there. I just kept walking. Suddenly I felt dizzy. I tried to keep my balance but fell over. I looked up and I saw a small toy next to me. I ran away from that place. I ran to my house and locked the door. The next morning I was sitting in bed. I was about to brush my teeth, but I looked in the mirror and I saw a lot of scars on my face. I was running to my parents' room, but they weren't there. I opened the door and saw 2 dead bodies on the floor. I fell back and screamed. Suddenly something stabbed me in the back. It was a needle. It was in my hand though. Did I just stab myself? I remember a few days before their death, my mom and dad were arguing. They would have killed each other. I felt like killing myself. I felt madness going through my veins. I didn't feel like the sporty girl that I used to be, but I know I feel like a mad person. I was walking in the forest because I was trying to run away, or at least see if Slenderman would take me, but I had to go back. Current day. Today the police are seeing who did this. They could tell it was a murder, but they don't think it's possible for them to kill each other. Cop. Well, we have the fingerprints, and it says that it's you. Me. How is that possible? I was asleep the whole time. I was crying. Cop. I'm afraid that you'll have to go to a mental hospital. Me. This isn't fair. It wasn't me. Again, I felt rage and madness. I suddenly grabbed a kind and stabbed the cop. They all had their guns to me. I had about 3 knives and I threw them all at them. While I was running away from all the dead bodies, I tripped over a rock and cut myself. How do you run away from a dead body? They're dead! They can't move! As I was running, I saw a note on a tree. I just kept running. I stabbed every live thing I saw. I kept a smile in my face the whole time. Eventually, I got tired and down there was a lot of blood on my hands. This madness in my head wasn't going to stop. I was a monster. People feared me. I have dolls of everyone, including you. And everywhere I go, there will be blood. Was this story influenced by zero punctuation? Number 5. Melina Forsaken. Melina is a 16-year-old girl who has been abused all of her life by her parents. But when her siblings try to help her, they just get hurt. So after a while, they just stop trying. Melina goes to dance and music classes. She also does martial arts, but she isn't as strong as her parents. So anyway, it took just one thing in this one day, where she had been abused all day, until she left for rehearsals to make her snap. During dance class, Melina's teacher asked her to do her solo, and she did it but got it wrong, because she had forgotten to twirl at the end. So, she done it again, got it right, but the teacher still said it was wrong. The teacher had said that she hadn't pointed her toes, and so Melina done it again. But the teacher still said it was wrong. But Melina know it was right, so she said to the teacher, I have done it right this time and I will not do it again. The teacher said, if you don't do it again, I will give your solo to someone else. And that is what made Melina snap, to be told that she would get her solo taken off of her if she didn't do it again. And with all that of Melina's anger was let out, because she had just stabbed her teacher in the gut with her pocket knife. the teacher went limp, in her hands, and one of the other students was on the phone to the cops. He had said, "Hello, officer. We need help at the studio. Melina has Forsaken our dance instructor with the penalty of death." And with that, Melina was out of the building and her house in a matter of minutes, killing anything in her way. There was no one at home, so she ran upstairs, packed a bag with clothes and her PlayStation 3 and her favorite games. She ran downstairs, packed another bag with her father's weapons, such as blades, guns, a butcher knife, and a few other things, and she got her passport, some hidden money from her parents, and left the town to live in the woods. Yeah. Number 4. Spongebobs Fun. Alright guys, it's time for another spooky sponge story. Are you sure you're ready for this? One night, I was home alone, while my parents were at their job. I thought I should watch some SpongeBob SquarePants to cheer my mood. So, I turn on the TV and go on to Netflix. That is where I watch all of my shows. I then get this creepy feeling like someone is watching me. I get scared easily at night and get very paranoid. But I felt like someone's eyes were beaming down onto me. So, I open up SpongeBob and it starts up, fine and normally. But the intro was slowed down into a piercing demonic voice. Well, it's not normal that way, right? I quickly turned the TV off, getting shit scared for my life. I say, shit, what was that? As I was staring blankly into the TV cut back on its own. It must be a malfunction, I said, as I plopped onto my couch and continued watching the show. I could not get that intro out of my head. Why was the intro like that, I thought in my head. Then as I was watching, Squidward's head was looking at SpongeBob and Patrick from his window. I thought to myself, weird, I don't remember Squidward being there. So I continued onto the show and iMessage pops up saying, "Around turn." What? I said, taking a deep breath. Afterwards, I read the post backwards and it said, "Turn around." Duh! I could not move. I felt every bone in my body tighten up and I could hear a faint laugh behind me. My lights were off, so I thought, what if I can't see him? I was scared to move, every bone in my body trembling as I tried to turn my head, but my brain would not let me. I then turn around and see a faint yellow square in the background. As I squint, I notice it looks like SpongeBob, I said. Then the TV turns on, startling me, as the SpongeBob intro plays back slowly and seeming demonic as ever. But in the intro, SpongeBob is killing Partik and Sandy and Squidward and everyone. I turned back around and the square was gone. I ran as fast as I could for the stairs and ran up as fast as my legs could move. I ran into my room, slamming my door and sitting there. I wonder what it was, I said quietly. I waited there like a baby. All of a sudden, I heard the TV turn off, then back on. This time, it was SpongeBob saying,
"Jake, come down here." Yeah.
"Fuck that!" I said. I opened my window and jumped down, twisting my ankle as I slammed into the ground. I heard my door shut and saw SpongeBob walking out crying, and his legs were wobbling.
Wobbly wobble, wobble.
He crept towards me as he said, "Where you going?" with a smile on his head. I passed out and was in the hospital for wounds and cut marks. I still don't know what happened that night, but if I were you, stay away from SpongeBob. You heard the author. SpongeBob is dangerous. Always remember that. Remember that, and you'll live. Number 3. Jealousy. This astonishing and hair-raising story begins by telling us that our immensely likable lead has recently moved into a new house together with their parents. This was a relief to our lead, as they hated their old house, which was a 3-story house with an outdoor pool with a water slide and a waterfall. Why, you spoiled little? Instead, they now lived in a small 1-story house. Why would they leave their old house? It sounded like something out of Extreme Home Makeover, damn it! Apparently, our leads' hate for their old house was not just because of the size of the thing, but also because of Mr. Marshall, who was an old man who would observe them while they were watching their favorite YouTubers, Captain Sparkles, Sky Does Minecraft, Frankie on PCN, and more amazing YouTubers. So, the story is apparently now a journal, and our lead tells us that they still have some unpacking to do. They have already put up all 19 Tobuscus posters they own, wow, and decided to place on Xbox with their crush, Nathaniel Norman, and listening to Safety Torch, which is some band or something, I don't know. Then, the story abandons the journal aspect and goes back to being about the main character. They watch SpongeBob, play some Minecraft, and then fall asleep. When they wake up, their clothes are covered in blood. They get up and look outside and see zombies all over the streets. So blah blah blah, unimportant shit happens. Laurel, who is now apparently the name of the protagonist, jumps out of her window and makes her way to her crush's Nathan's house. There she finds all of her friends. Oh, what a coincidence. She rushes over to Nathan and kisses him. And he totally rolls with it, dude. Then she passes out. She wakes up in a hospital, and Jaden Farkas, one of her friends, has passed away. She will be forever missed. Cassara Wallace, another one of Laurel Sexton, his friends, told her that Maddie Victoria Payne was close to dying, which scared Laurel, as she loved Maddie. Maddie had shot a zombie with a Desert Eagle when Nathan came to give her a hug. I don't understand what's going on. So Maddie and Nathan were hugging when zombies broke down the doors, and Nathan proceeded to kill them all with a crowbar. In a matter of seconds, Laurel started hating Maddie. She was stealing Laurel's man. Laurel liked Nathan, and Nathan liked her. Maddie Cassara and Nathasha Mattis, another one of Laurel's expendable friends, were sitting on the edge of the hospital roof. Laurel was so mad that she pushed them off the roof. They were devoured by zombies. She then ran up to Nathan and hugged him, and they began making out because watching their friends being ripped to shreds was just too freaking arousing. Suddenly, zombies pushed the door open, and Laurel and Nathan made out until they were eaten alive. Man, that ending gets me every time. It's so poetic. Number 2, Insane Serenity. Something about that title sounds very contradictory. Okay, we are done. Next fucking person to post a story about Jeff the Killer being married to them or other shit I'm gonna kill. Excuse me, we both are gonna kill. Do you wanna know who he is? Do you wanna know who I am? Oh, I'm no one special but Serenity Rose, the girl who hangs with Jeff and goes on a killing spree. No, I'm not so popular, but that's because I thought Jeff was a retard for posting his story, so every unsolved case could be pointed to him. I'm his girlfriend, not you. Why are some girls so in love with him? What if they knew the truth about him, about us? Would they still love him? Would they hate me? I'm gonna tell the story, we both are gonna put our feelings, but like Jeff told me, he doesn't know how to explain it, what happened, but I'll tell you this, I'm glad it did, and I'm glad I met him. If you wanna message us, then feel free to. Retracted. No capitals. Let me see your comments, you bitches, but next time anyone puts him as a sex toy for or anything, I will find you and kill you. Enjoy the story, whores. Remember, go to sleep. P.S. If you see Jane, Jeff said to tell her to give his watch back. And that's all that needs to be said about this story. I don't want to summarize the rest. You know exactly what's gonna happen. Girl meets Jeff, they fall in love, they both get into accidents, they both start killing people. There's only one song that fits with a situation like this one. Play me off, Johnny. Number 1. Fat Bat Freddy. Freddy Harland was a young, obese, 15-year-old boy from northern Kentucky. The poor child was always alone and bullied. Therefore, he found comfort in his trusty baseball bat his grandpa had given him. Freddy called this bat Lucille. No, wait, no he didn't. That would have been awesome. Freddy would spend hours in his front yard singing, "Take me out to the ball game," as he threw his ball up in the air to hit it. This caused him to appear crazy to his peers and his neighborhood, and after being rejected by the local baseball team for the 4th time and being mercilessly bullied by the members of the team, they went so far as to cave the young lad's face in with his own baseball bat. They then put a greasy, black garbage bag over his almost non-existent head and buried him in a shallow grave. Months passed, and the police gave up on the case for no reason. The boys who murdered Freddy were intelligent enough to brag about the fact that they killed Fat Bat Freddy, but for some reason, the boys were never arrested or questioned. In fact, the entire school started laughing about it, as the teachers began saying things like, "Well, at least he didn't have to kill himself," and "That's what I call a weight loss." Yes, the whole school was happy about it. What bizarre drug-induced reality are we in right now? 3 weeks later, during lunchtime, at the school, an announcement came on the school speakers. "Take me out to the ball game," it said. The doors shut and the lights dimmed, and the song became louder. The big doors to the cafeteria slowly crepied open, revealing an obese boy with a garbage bag on his head, holding a bloody baseball bat. When the police arrived at the scene, they were met with a horrid display of an orgy of violence. Everyone's faces were bashed in so bad that they were filled with goo, and there were numerous dirty footprints on the ground, along with a note that the police found that said, "Fat Bat Freddy is back, and he is very mad." The police also found another note next to one of the boys from the cafeteria who had been dragged out to the baseball field with his face smashed in completely. The note said, "I am free now. I will return very soon." Signed by Freddy. Well, if you're free, Freddy, then why would you be returning? Go be a free man! A free Freddy, if you will! Put your soul to rest, young man! You're free! Where was I? Oh yeah, kids getting their faces bashed in with baseball bats. Awesome. Well, there you go. Those were some more stories straight from the depths of the creepypasta underworld and into your hearts. I hope you enjoyed them, and I hope you enjoyed this video. Take care everyone, and thank you for subscribing.